adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures Pipeman W4CY Radio. I just got back from the Pipeman Radio tour in UK and Europe, that leg of the tour, and I was lucky enough to see this band at one of my favorite festivals, Hellfest. And man, it was amazing. That's something I love about some of the European festivals, because I find bands that you wouldn't normally find at the US festivals, because they kind of mix it up more over there. And I find some of my favorite bands, and this band killed it there. So let's welcome to the show, Sowulo. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. And indeed, Hellfest was amazing, man.
Right?
Yeah.
The one thing I do have to say, though, is how do you even perform in that heat? I'm always like in awe of artists performing in that heat, you know, because it's like, I know you're probably in a zone, so it's like you don't even notice till after it's over that you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, we melted away. And also our gear was melting away. We even heard from bands that were playing on the same stage previous from our schedule. And they told us like there were some malfunctions with the devices because it was so hot. So yeah, it was a pain in the ass, but it's Hellfest, so it's so fucking hot as hell, and yeah, we made the decision to downgrade our clothing a bit.
See, that's smart.
Yeah, because we thought people are here for the music, and well, like it doesn't really matter how we look, right? If we look nice, that of course is a bonus. But primarily is the music. So we're going to downsize our clothing a bit so that we can focus on the music more, because it was crazy hot.
Yeah, that's the thing. I see some of the artists and they're wearing their same gear they would normally wear. I'm like, yeah, no, I would be taking that stuff off right away.
Yeah, but we live in such a visual world that people just have the feeling like if I don't put this on, I'm downgrading the show. Of course, we also felt that.
Right.
Like you have to make a tough decision, a tough call. But I also think we need to be more interested in the music, how it sounds, and how the performing is going, and not so much what clothing you are wearing.
Yeah. I agree. Now, I will say, though, the weather was appropriate for your band name and your type of music. Because if you didn't have the heat of the sun, like it wouldn't really be appropriate now, would it?
Exactly. Yeah, you're referring to the name Sowulo. Is one of the runes, and it is the name of the sun in Proto-Germanic. So yeah, we brought the sun with us.
Yeah, it's your fault. I'm going to blame you for how hot I was.
I can imagine, yeah.
But it was worth it. I mean, like, what a show. Maybe you could describe for our listeners who have never seen you live what they could expect from a live show, and or who haven't listened to you, what they can expect from your music.
Okay, let's start with the live show. I always make fun of that we are with a Viking orchestra, because we have such a lot of musicians and such a large extent of instruments on stage. We're using all these ancient and historical instruments like the Celtic harp, but also more unknown like the nickel harpa, Irish bouzouki, and the Carnix, blowhorns, big shamanic drums. We've got 2 percussionists. We've got a string ensemble. This time we had only 1 string player, but still, it is a big thing to look at. And I always say to my musicians, try to forget the audience totally and just go deep into the music, so that we don't perform in that sense. But if you go deep into the music and you really feel it, you will express it naturally, and then it forms this energy, and that gives us a show, basically.
Yeah, and you know, I love that there's a lot of bands like coming up nowadays that are starting to use unique instruments and instruments with meaning to them, because I think it's all cool, especially the percussionist stuff, because I was a percussionist. So like I like the drums, but I also love, like, some of my favorite punk bands is because they had the jungle beat, you know, and using stuff like timpani and all these different other types of instruments that people don't even realize they're all part of percussion. You know, they just think of the drums, but there's so many instruments. I remember just being in school and I learned about all these different instruments that I probably never would have played it had it been for, you know, joining the orchestra and learning about percussion.
Yeah, exactly. We even like made some of the drums ourselves.
Nice.
Like the we don't have a normal drum kit. Indeed, we have a percussion kit, and it is just a selection of amazing ancient drums and frame drums and little metal bells and metal pieces, and together it forms this very unique sound palette. So yeah, it's fucking amazing to be creative with your percussion kit.
Oh, no doubt about it. And so let's talk about the new album that's going to be dropping very soon. And this album probably has a lot of meaning to you because you wrote it when both your, which is wild, both your father and stepfather passed, which sorry for that and for it to happen at the same time. But sometimes also that's where some of the greatest music is created, in our dark times.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, it's gonna be out on the 29th of August, and indeed, I was already feeling what direction the concept album was about. I felt I need to take it more slow, and take it even more inwards, and I just plainly had a rough time. So I already knew, like, I'm gonna make a concept album about the night, and I'm gonna start with the moon as a lit and cyclical element. So I started with the moon songs, and then I gave form to the songs that were really about the night itself, the darkness, the blackness, the stillness. And in that period, actually, first my stepfather was diagnosed with cancer, and he
Ugh.
died in a couple of months.
Wow.
And I took that grief, and of course it gave me songs that needed to be told and created, giving that grief a channel. And of course it's really universal. Everybody understands grief, and so I was writing those songs, and still more like a symbolic level, death and the night. And then after a couple of months, my biological father also was diagnosed with cancer, and it was also a quick death for him in a
Aye.
couple of weeks or months. And being a musician gives you, being a self-employed musician, it gives you the possibility to put everything on hold and to focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there a lot with them, from the beginning to the end. Both of my stepfather and my father, I saw them dying, in taking their last breath. Both. It was really magical to be in the same room at that moment, and writing this album about death and the night.
Wow.
And darkness and grieving and the dark periods in life. So it was really, really magical that this all was connected to each other.
That is wild. I love that. That just proves to me more and more like the universe is like, it's just weird what the universe sends you. Yeah, like you can't even predict it, and you can't fight it either. You know, it's like, it's just what happens. And then what I love about it too is, so music to the listener is some of the best therapy there is. And I like that we're focusing on how much therapy it is for the artist.
Yeah,
you know,
well, yeah.
Because without that therapy for the artist, we probably don't get the therapy, and we can put our own meaning to it. But I think some of the best lyrics, the best music is written as therapy to get it out of you and help you, but then it creates something magical.
Yeah, I also completely feel that. I always think about like, what music do you need to make? What needs to be told, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a honest and true story, not just blah blah, not making stuff up, but telling a real story. And of course that always implies a universal subject, like something that everybody experience in their life. So that is always my entrance point, like what is happening in my life, and how can I use that indeed to tell a real story, or to have therapy, to get some teachings, to go deep within and deep in those subjects. And of course, when it's all real, then the audience will feel that and resonate with it. Of course, they will not have the same details as you, but in a universal level, we're all experiencing the same things.
And real being the key word, because when an artist is being real, that's when you do connect with the audience.
Exactly.
I also find it interesting, I don't know if this is the case for you, but I find it interesting, a lot of artists and even speakers, like I'm also a motivational speaker, there's things that I'll say on stage that I don't say to people in my life in real life, because they're stories that I would normally keep private, but when I get up on stage, they're meant to help people. So then I share them. And I've had people that knew me like my whole life that maybe went to one of my seminars and are like, oh, I didn't know that about you. You know, and I think when we have that pulpit, so to speak, to be able to express ourselves, it's almost like we're free of any judgment whatsoever. And we truly connect with the people that we're spreading that with.
Yeah, and I think what you also experience, at least let me say, like from my point of view, I always try not to think too much.
Right.
So just something needs to be told. So just let go of the control freak inside you and just put it out there, what needs to be told, not what you want to tell, but what needs to be told. And then you also listen to your own words and be surprised about it. And most of the time you will give shape with your words to a deeper meaning that even makes more sense to yourself than just the blah blah level of thinking and words. Yeah.
Well, because you're even being truthful to yourself at that point, which sometimes you're not. Sometimes you are overthinking and you like compartmentalize, whereas when you're creating, it's just, you're just more being free. Totally honest and free. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and even you, if you hear yourself back, it's like, you view it a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I also feel like when I compose, so on the level of the instrumental part, I don't try to overthink, and I don't try to intervene too much. I just grab an instrument, and then I let the instrument speak. And when I think, oh, that's a great song, I'm gonna make a song out of it, then I'm just adding layers of different instruments and basically ask them what needs to be told on the level of the instrument. So I don't try to intervene too much, and then just create freely. And of course, then when everything comes together, then I'm shaping it, and trying to get some details right so that it makes musically more sense. But just create freely. That is the power that
Yeah.
makes it a magical song. Yeah.
You know what was pretty wild too? Okay, so I was watching the video for the lead single. Let's see if I can pronounce it right. Even Āsteorfan.
Yeah, I would say Āsteorfan.
Okay, so I was somewhat close, but that's why I wanted you to say it, so it would be said right. But it was wild because going on that motivational thing, one of the first seminars I ever attended many years ago was a Tony Robbins seminar where I had to walk on fire on the hot coals, just like you were doing in the video.
Cool,
I was like, well, that's pretty cool because I know what that's like. And it is a very spiritual thing that really, like, I can't even describe the feeling I had after doing that compared to the feeling before doing it.
Exactly.
You know?
And both are really, really priceless.
Right.
Both feelings are really, really important.
Exactly. And it is an example of exactly what you're saying too about, not even thinking about it. Because at the time I was married and I went with my now ex-wife, she actually burned her feet and I didn't, because she was overthinking it the whole time, whereas I just did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference in anything we accomplish in life. I'm big about the overthinking part of it. Sometimes isn't so helpful, and sometimes we just have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it was really important to put it in the music video, because I was trying to search in a way to tell the symbolic level of overcoming your fear of stillness and darkness and death even. And so I thought, like, oh, a fire walk is actually a nice way to tell this story, because when you're standing before these burning embers, it is pretty fucking intense, right?
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And then you have to overcome that, and basically in a way accepting your dying.
Yeah.
You're gonna accept whatever happens when I walk over this. I'm just gonna do it. I don't know what is gonna happen. Maybe I will burn my feet completely. Maybe it hurts. But you have to overcome that all. Just let go and then walk over it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like the perfect way to show the people a small death, a small way of telling the story of overcoming death.
I love it. And so symbolic too, and you'll laugh because when I did the first walk, okay, I was standing on line, and then it came up to me and they stopped me so that they could shovel fresh coals on it. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But you know what? It is so symbolic of what you can then accomplish after that, because we all let these blockages stop us from doing anything, including artists creating music, and to me, it's symbolic of just about everything that stops us and inhibits us in life. So I am thankful for not only your music, but the symbolism that comes with it, so that people can feel better, because we need that in 2025. I can say that for sure, especially as somebody living in my country right now. You know, the whole world needs to just feel better, feel happy, and just all love each other. And I think maybe we should do a whole worldwide fire walk, maybe.
Yeah. I also love that idea.
Right?
I think everybody should do a fire walk sometime.
Yes.
At least one time. Maybe like I did it a couple of times, because sometimes you need to remember yourself, right?
Yeah.
And indeed, also within this song, I love what you're saying. Like in this song, the theme, the subject was death, but it was more about overcoming the fear of death and death of your ego and stuff like that, and overcoming the dark periods in life. So I basically composed a heroic song, right? It's really uplifting. It gives you it really gives you strength.
Yeah.
So it really like becoming friends with the dark periods in life, and with ego death is really, really important. Really, like, not try to push the darkness away and ignore it, and only wanting to be in the light is not the way to go.
Yeah.
You really have to look the darkness in the eyes, be with it, sit with it, be quiet, and basically get the message there from that, the teaching from the darkness, these dark periods in life. And you can see that for yourself, but you can also see it on a global scale.
Yeah, and what I see a lot of times is the people that went through the most darkness many times are the ones that experience the most light. And mainly because they appreciate the light too, once you get there, and I absolutely love what you're saying, because it's so what I believe. And like, even me, I'm like, I have zero fear of dying. I have a fear of not living. And that doesn't mean not being alive. It means not living life to the fullest, because you're worried about dying.
Yeah, exactly. That is the main theme, basically. Worrying and anxiety. That is the main thing. Overcome that and just really start living. What do you really want to do in life, and what do you want to bring into life, and what do you want to bring into the world? You really have to learn that in the darkness. You won't learn it in the light. You won't. You will never reach that point. So
Absolutely.
it's really, really important to step into the darkness.
I love it. And so that's why the only worry I have is to make sure that people listen to this album. So tell everybody how they can connect with you guys on social media, how they can get the new album, check out your tour dates. I know you have some other festivals on the horizon too. So give them all that info.
We're going to play Castlefest in the Netherlands. That's in the first weekend of August. And then we'll go to Oslo, to Midgardsblot, to perform there. And both shows will be amazing, special for us, because we will perform new songs for the first time. So we are really, really looking forward to that. And we want to bring some elements from the music video into our performance. I hope one day I will walk on fire on the stage, but not.
Oh, that would be cool.
Exactly, but not this time. We're not big enough. We don't have the resources and money to do that, but it will be amazing. And yeah, like of course we're gonna promote our new music, our singles. We're gonna put another single out in just a couple of weeks, and then the complete album. So you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and also on YouTube. Indeed, like this last music video, I'm really proud on that because it indeed tells the story so good. We worked with some amazing people. Mickey, the female singer from Sowulo, did even the color grading. So she made all the colors so perfectly fit the story of what we're trying to say in the music video. So yeah, we're really happy with that. And of course, with this album, we've got Season of Mist, the record label, helping us for the very first time to really put this, connecting this album with a lot of people. And I'm really happy they're helping me with that, because that is such a hard thing to do on your own.
Yeah, totally. And they're amazing. They're one of my favorite record labels to deal with, and have some of the best bands and how they promote them. So yeah, I'm happy you're on Season of Mist too.
I'm also happy with that. And I totally agree. Like the most creative, avant-garde, metal and non-metal music is on Season of Mist. So I really feel I'm at the right place.
You definitely are, and I was glad I was able to catch you at Hellfest, and I hope to see a lot more of you. And thanks for giving us such great music and therapy, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, man.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.